is up? This is Jason Gaming, and on today's video we're going to show you the controller setup that I use. Controller setup in this game come out, I don't know, maybe a year ago, year and a half, something like that. It hasn't been out a very long time. It's been in beta for a while. It's got some bugs to it. They fix bugs, more bugs come out, but it's a fun tool to use. It's not the best, but you can do most content with the controller. Some people think you can't do ZVZ, things like that, but you can. So we're just going to jump right into it. So the settings, and also before I get into this, please critique me if you use the controller, because these options, I'm not going to say these are the best, these are what I use. And if anything seems off, or if you know a better way, please comment below. So we're going to get into basically everything I use, and I will add things to this video that's non-controller based, just to show you what I use in connection with the controller. So the resolution is the first thing I'm going to bring up, and there's other videos on it, but I do not have a widescreen monitor. But I do have my resolution on widescreen, which you can change that in your graphics settings. And the reason why you want that is because you're going to have a couple of feet on each side of your screen for gankers or anything like that. So like mine's 1920 by 800, and I believe that number is going to be the same for most monitors. I think that's not widescreen to make it widescreen, but that is one of the best things I have ever done in this game for changing my settings. And then visual quality, most things I have low, just in case if I ever do ZVZ, I don't have to worry about something crazy happening and your computer shutting down in the middle of it. Audio, I don't know, I usually have it around 40 or 50, but right now I have it a little lower so I can kind of hear my audio while I'm recording. Music, I have 0, and sound effects at 100%, because when you're in content like the mist or anything like that, you're not going to want to hear anything else but the sound effects of that enemy around you, killing mobs, whatever. That's a big thing with gankers, is, you know, they can hear you killing mobs kind of on the edge of their screen, plan their attack, all that good stuff. I don't really remember a whole lot here. We're not going to go into too much depth on this kind of things. Name tag small. Here's a big one. Selectable off-screen name tags, which I'm assuming most of you guys have that selected, but please have that selected because their name tag will pop up on the edge of the screen. That's a huge perk for getting planning to gank or whatever, you know, content happens, all that good stuff. Show off-screen name tags, those two, definitely. But I'm not going to show every little thing in this video. So we're going to go to the controls. So I use an Xbox controller. I think the game uses most brands, most big brands, but I use an Xbox controller, and I use a wired controller. Why is that? My computer has been having issues since I've updated Windows with Bluetooth. So with wired, you're always going to have that reliable connection. Unlike console, you can chill on a couch, be a distance from the console, and you're going to want wireless while you're watching the TV or whatever. Computer, you're always going to be right in front of it. So I would highly recommend a wired controller, whatever brand that you like. Okay, and then, but yeah, this, I guess that's your mouse settings. So we're going to go to gamepad. Here we go. So you've got right stick target selection or right stick cursor. Right stick cursor is going to make it to where it's like a mouse. So I'm going to get on my controller, and that is what you're going to use for attacking. And what I'm going to do, I should have had this planned already, but we're going to go put some gear on, We're going to put some gear on and we're going to kind of show you just a quick in-action deal with this. Alright, so I got up to some mobs and I've got the mouse clicker deal, which, as you can see, it's very similar to the mouse play, but I just never got into it because it is slower in playstyle, because using a joystick mouse is way harder than using an actual mouse. So you're going to have to actually click on it. And for some of you that plays controller already, you might enjoy this style. I just need to either get better at it, or I don't know, it's not my thing. Moving this around while I'm playing, it just makes it slower. So as you can see, you're going to have to kind of, you can still use your spells, using your buttons, but targeting, you have to right trigger. So we're going to go back to settings. We're going to change this to right stick target selection. Right stick selects the target in the direction of the stick movement. Press down right shoulder pad to switch targeting modes. So what that means, before I even attack anybody, is when you hit the right shoulder button, you can select what enemy. So if you want enemies only, all targets. And then if you're in a party, you can select party, which is good for healing small parties and things like that. But I've always used the enemies for, not always, but most of the time, most content, enemies. Just depends on if you're DPS, tank, heals, support. So we're going to show you how much faster it is using joystick targeting. Let me follow this sexy bear here. Maybe there's some enemies up ahead. This is kind of a busy time in the game. So, all right. So we got an enemy, and instead of the mouse, there is no mouse. So when you use the right joystick, maybe I need to use. Let me get something that's got more enemies to it. Oh my God. The allies have killed all of the mobs in the zone. They really haven't, but it's a busy time of the game. So let's see if I can find a couple of enemies together. Well, anyways, let's just use this. Okay, so you see the red circle, that's the targeting. I can switch targets with my joystick. It is so much faster than using mouse targeting. And then you just simply pick the target with your joystick, run up to it, whatever spell you want. So and as far as the spell, like the jump spell, you just simply aim it towards the enemy that you want. If you've seen the little AoE deal. All right, so we're gonna go back. And that's where our next thing is. Cast on button release. That is spells like this. Well, actually any of them. You hit the spell, and the second you release it, the spell works. And that has been my favorite thing to do because of the speed. Some people doesn't like that because they might feel like they don't control it as well, but to me this just, once you get used to it and can control when to release it, you have that speed of just. So just pretend there's an enemy to my right and you just run up. See how fast it is? Button release is the way to go. All right. And then I'll show you kind of without it. So without it, I hit button release. See the difference? Slower. So each time you want to spell, you're going to have to hit the button completely. Hit it, release it. Hit it, release it. And then a spell like this where you have to jump, you have to physically hit R2. So you hit the button and you still have to hit R2. Hit the button, hit R2. Hit the button, hit R2. Hit the button, hit R2. No, that's just way too slow. Way too slow. So you're going to want target button release. And then the indicator I've always had selected. And then virtual cursor, you don't use that unless you use like inventory or things like that. But that's what I've always used. You can tell me different things in the comments, quick cast and button release, but you're not going to use cursors. So. Okay, dynamic actions. All right, so auto target lock. I've always used lock for controller because sticky kind of sticks to a target and then you might accidentally hit the joystick and it stick to another target. I want to make sure that my target is selected unless I just know I'm switching targets with my right joystick. So I've always used lock so it doesn't bounce around targets, if that makes sense. Target type priority, I use players because, for example, if I'm in mist and I am killing the mobs, I'm always going to be watching the outside of my screens for gankers or players trying to kill me, or rats. Or if I just simply kill a mob, sometimes that my target will automatically lock onto the player. If I don't see them, sometimes that helps. But for me, I always have that, and it doesn't affect my mob killing. And then I always do lowest health. Just simply, I should do any target. Correct me if I'm wrong if that's what you use, but I just do lowest health. It doesn't affect a lot of content, but it will, if I'm DPS, jump me to the easiest to kill. And then change lock target if invalid, preview attack target. I just have those selected. It hasn't affected a whole lot in my targeting. The biggest thing is the locked and players and the button release up here. Now here's a huge thing with people, okay? Auto target ground spells. So, and cast spells and current target, but mainly auto target. Auto target is going to make it to where your ground spells are already going to be targeted to the enemy. Alright, so let's get to a mob. Kind of busy right now, so maybe we should have went to a blue zone for this. Alright, so your ground spells, yeah, all these right here. So the ones here, all right, here's the deal that I'm trying to tell the controller developers. For example, these two spells right, well, not that one, but specifically my main ability where I have to get on the target to use it, like the double slash. Now, this could be the AoE purge for the heavy mace, anything that has an AoE effect around your character. I cannot use it unless I am directly on that target. You see that I'm hitting the button, but I'm running to it. What I'm saying is the auto target for ground spells is terrible for things like ZVZ, where you have to get on the target, the single target, to use it. But for solo play like Mist, it's great as long as you don't have multiple enemies. So if I'm running in, it'll work as long as I'm on it. So bam, great. Now, what it's specifically great for is the spells where you have to jump or physically move your AoE. So I'll show you. Like this spell, see how you actually have a AoE thing to move. It's great for that. See how it's already locked on. So weapons where you have these kind of AoEs or ranged casters, anything where it's ranged. That's great for the automatic target, and I'll show you why. Say that's an enemy, I'm running towards him, I'm bam, bam. See how the circle is already targeted to the enemy. Okay, it's very, very good for ganking and solo play. So that's the pluses and minuses of this right here. You're gonna want that targeted for solo play. You are not going to want that targeted for ZVZ. And I will probably, at the very end of this, I will show a little section of ZVZ play, just yellow zone. I haven't been doing it much here lately, but yellow zone, I will pop up. Um, I'll actually pop up a red zone and a yellow zone, just a couple of seconds. One with this weapon that I'm using, and another one with heavy mace, just to show you. I will be using it without auto target in those clips because auto target is not good for ZVZ. And then cast spells and current target, I use that too. But you're gonna want auto target selected for solo play, not ZVZ, because you'll have. And I think I'll just show you without it on. Watch the difference of the AoE. The AoE is not, well, let me change this to a enemy. All right. All right, so instead of the spell being locked on, you get the idea. So in a scenario where you have an enemy and you're ganking them, if you're running and doing this, you're gonna have to spend that extra. It ain't long, an extra second to move the crosshair around your character to the enemy. So if you want optimal play, use the auto targeting for solo play. But for ZVZ, do not have it on. Do not have it on. It'll get you killed. I'm hoping that they will update this game. I made it on a post on their forums to where you can have some kind of multi-target selection with, especially with self-character AoE hits. That way, if it's a multi-target, I can still have my auto-target on for clump spells and jump snares, but my AoE that's connected to my own character's body will still work without being directly on the enemy, if that makes sense. So, yes, you're going to want that and that. These mostly on all the time. And then I have beneficial spells priority, lowest health, just use that mainly for DPS so I can kill the lowest HP person and get the fame from it. And then the dead zone, I've got mine at about a 10%. That's kind of the sensitivity of your joystick, so I'll show you all the way. Or not sensitivity, but let me see. Anyways, you get the drift. You can Google that. There's so many people here, but yeah. I use mine at 10%. It has to do with your joystick speed. Dead zone. The way it responds, basically, is the dead zone. Okay, key bindings. And you can actually set your key bindings to your controller. So, I have mini maps. So, I'll just show you a quick little. So, I can auto run. I'm doing it right now, auto run. Hop off and on my mount real quick. Very useful, just speed. I can go to the market and sell and buy things very, very, very fast with my controller. Just with the arrow selection, and then I can change spells, all that good stuff. Let's see, what do I have? Okay, I can zoom in and out of the map using my joystick. I don't think I have. Okay, so I can zoom in on my character, zoom out. Did I do ping? Okay, so I can ping. There's my inventory and a few other things, but you can do most things on the controller. It's just people doesn't know how to use it because there's not a lot of videos on it and the settings are kind of iffy. But I've done all content with it. Probably my biggest thing is using like ranged characters, just because. For example, ZVZ, I'm having to set up my certain spells and go attack a clump. It's a little slower, but I'm going to get more practice on it and post more videos. This is just kind of showing you a general idea of everything that is related, the basics. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to show you 2 clips. Nothing great at all. I'm not in a party or anything like that, just showing you it does work in ZVZ. So If you guys have any kind of improvements, critiques, put them on the forum or on the comments below or Discord, and I will try different things. We're just trying to get the controller up to par with. I know it's never going to be as good as keyboard and mouse, but maybe one day it'll be up there. They just have to. They need a lot of work on it. So on to the next video. I will talk to you guys in the future. Peace out.